Hello, this is Angelo. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so this month's Life Coaching Masterclass is dedicated on what else? Love, the power of love. We will study in the next 30 minutes or so, we will study the power of love from various angles. So, regardless if you are single and looking for your ideal relationship, or if you are in a relationship already, or if you just want to improve and upgrade the relationship with yourself, you will definitely find value in these next few minutes. So, before we begin, as always, I want to thank you for being here and congratulate you for being here, for working on yourself to upgrade any area of your life that matters to you and become, as I like to say, a much better cell of humanity. So you want to switch off your phone, or definitely make sure all notifications are off, and definitely uh, um, turn off all the other windows on your PC, your laptop, or tablet from which you're watching this live coaching masterclass. You want to make sure that you participate fully. And for the next 30 minutes or so, let's consider that in this world, it is just you and me and all the things that we will be talking about here. Pay good attention. The power of love is something that is a game changer simply because it is missing. It is like a complete lack of love in so many people's lives. So, you're more than welcome to take notes, but always remember that you have the replay at your disposal so you can invest your attention here right now and rewatch it if you want to keep some notes. Also, I want to remind you that we have crossed the point of no return, meaning that from now on, the only outcome that you allow in your consciousness is to land happily and safely at your desired destination, whatever that is. How do you feel? The question with which I begin each and every single masterclass. The question that you want to be asking yourself many times during the day, simply because your feeling determines the state of your being and the quality of your life right now. And also, the better you feel, the more energy you have towards achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. As always, I want to remind you that we have set like a process goal, something, a state that we want to be as much as possible during the day, and that is the happy and unstoppable state. And of course, it will take some effort to get there. You will have to go through the exercises of perspective, forgiveness, love, gratitude, and happy landing. And for this masterclass alone, we want to set like the bottom, the minimum state that we permit ourselves to be. And that is love, which actually in the um, David Hawkins scale that goes between 0 and 1000, it is 500. It is just in the middle. But look how high it is in terms of state, meaning that it is already a not easily achievable state. And of course, if you look around, you will see that this is so. What I like to tell you about love is that, like any other emotion, love is simply a frequency, meaning that when we focus on that frequency, the more we focus on it, the more accessible it becomes in our lives. That's it. Every single emotional state is one frequency. And the more we practice that frequency, the more we reside on that emotional home, as Tony Robbins calls every single state that we are. So, where do you focus on right now? And what will happen in your consciousness and your emotional state if you start focusing, if you're watching right now and not listening, if you start focusing on these four pictures that let's say, project love in our consciousness. So you see an old couple in the first picture hugging themselves and walking at the beach. And then you see two dogs hugging each other. How cute that is. And then you see a mother hugging her little girl while watching the yachts in the marina. And in the last picture, you see a baby hugging, like very a very small, beautiful hug to what should be her grandmother or something. What I want to tell you about these pictures is they were carefully selected, but this does not mean that we are focusing on love right now. Maybe, just maybe, you're focusing in the absence of these like pictures from your life. So I want to remind you, which is like the theme for all the master classes of this year, the words of Elsie Lincoln Benedict, who said, like 100 years ago, actually, even more. And she said that if, as long as you keep focusing on the gap rather than the bridge, you will never be able to bridge the gap. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on the bridge. And that bridge is, in this example, to focus on having the state of love and the beautifulness in terms of all the details that your relationship has, regardless if you have it yet. This is the happy landing practice for love. This is the game changer. So today's menu, what we will be discussing about today, the only way to allow more love in your life, the only way, sounds like a very audacious claim, but this, you will see that this is so. We will also see the only way to attract your ideal partner, the necessary steps in order to fall in love with your super self and your super life, of course, and why love affects your success in any area of your life. So let's get started. Number one, the only way to allow more love in your life. And let's just see another picture. And here we have a glass of amazingly delicious and ice cold lemonade. And I want to ask you, how is it possible to fill this glass with even more lemonade? And I don't want to take this long, so I will tell you that what we can do is like remove the ice cubes, and then we can remove the slices of lemon, and finally we can remove the little mint leaves, and that's about it, right? And we can add some more lemonade. And what do I mean by that? That we can fill in as much lemonade as the container, that glass, can handle. Same goes with love in our lives. And that container is what? Self-love. We control the amount of love that we can allow in our lives based on the amount of self-love, on the magnitude of self-love. The more you love yourself, the more love you allow into your life. The bigger that container of love becomes. This is the only way you can allow more love in your life. If you look around, when there is lack of self-love and or self-respect, what is happening? People are repelling opportunities. They are repelling like loving friends from their lives. Why? Because they don't feel that they deserve it or should have that in their lives. Why? Because they don't love themselves first. So now you know how to begin every single day. with a bit more, like a pinch of self-love. And if you haven't done so already, let me remind you the exercise. And I remember from my early days of one-on-one coaching, I had a client, and she was, of course, it became apparent quite in the beginning of our first session that she had an issue with self-love. So I suggested her this exercise. And she told me that after our session, she went to do that exercise, and like she broke into uncontrollable tears. And she realized that it was like as if, you know, like a whole new universe appeared before her very eyes, because she realized that she hasn't felt that way for herself in her whole life. So this exercise is very simple, and many would feel like they're like too macho to do this exercise. Let me tell you, this exercise is for men more than it is for women, because sometimes this is what it takes to let go of some issues and actually give yourself permission to move to the next level. So, what is that exercise? As you wake up in the morning, maybe you have like a ritual in bed. So, when you get up and you go in front of the mirror, maybe in the bathroom, right, to brush your teeth or something, as you are in front of the mirror, you will hug yourself, give yourself like a big hug, and look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. And mean it. Watch what happens. That's about it. Simple, powerful. And if you truly want to make sure you get like the best of this little exercise and make the most of it, you want to make sure that you will repeat this exercise for at least 7 days in a row, and maybe, just maybe, allow it to become one of your power habits, of your super habits. And this is where you know that you are setting yourself for an amazing day, because you are self-love is becoming your partner in success, in happiness and success. Now, let's see the only way to attract your ideal partner. And as I said before, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and we have some like conflicting emotions about that day. Let's just see some examples. Number one, couples will call truce tomorrow and say, okay, let's just not fight for one day and argue with each other. It's Valentine's Day, so let's have some fun. Let's love each other. Let's exchange some gifts, or maybe some like heart-shaped chocolates or some flowers and so on. That's one way to go about it. Then singles is the day that singles most probably remind themselves the most that they are singles. And they feel the gap again rather than the bridge more than ever. And then we have another case of people who are actually in love, and Valentine's Day for them could be just another day, simply because they are on the right track in the relationship and they do not wait for Valentine's Day to validate their love and affection for each other, or to act like in an upgraded manner. So, that said, let's see what about that attraction of your ideal partner. Number one, the odds to win the lottery in the most popular Greek lottery, at least. Of course, these odds vary, but in the most popular Greek lottery, the odds are 1 in 24 million. What about the odds to attract your soulmate, your ideal partner? The odds are, given that you have chosen a certain gender, they are about 1 in 4 billion. So the odds are much worse, and they could get much worse than that. They could get down to zero if you focus on the gap. So what I want to say with this, of course, is that the game of love is rigged and definitely not in your favor. I repeat, the game of love is rigged and against you, not in your favor. And why is that? Because we are trying to create something that is considered by our own mind next to impossible. But what if you have like a plan? What if you have something for your mind to focus on? Something to become your attractive power, your magnet. Let's see how that would go. Number one, make a list of your wants. I had another client and she was looking for her ideal partner and she found it using that list. Not only that, she scored 100%, like she ticked every little detail of that list simply because she did the work beforehand and she allowed herself, no resistance there, she allowed herself to attract that partner in her life. Number two, this is where it gets tricky. Because again, you don't want to focus on the gap, you want to focus on the bridge. And the bridge in that case is what? Feel grateful for these characteristics that you just mentioned, even if you are already in a relationship where your partner is lacking some or even all of them. You know why? Because when you start focusing on these characteristics, what will happen is that you will start noticing these characteristics in your partner, or your partner will start changing, or you will finally find, like the boldness and all the synchronicities necessary for you to find that ideal relationship if you're truly looking for it. Number three, now it gets even trickier. Make a list of their wants. Sometimes we are so self like self-involved with this example and this list building that we think only of how our partner should be and neglect how we should be in this relationship, because our partner definitely has some wants, and if we fulfill these wants, this will be a much better fit, right? So what's the last part? Commit to be their soulmate, to do these, to make the necessary changes to be their soulmate as well. And then you have like eternal success. This is where you can, have, you can live lovingly ever after. How you do that? By making sure each other is a right fit. Each other is doing the work to upgrade their state to be like the better half of the relationship. Why the quotes, Angelo? Why did I say meet your ideal partner? Simply because life is dynamic. And if you go back in your life, you will find out that your wants did change at some point and are also dynamic and could change again, meaning, again, going back to the beginning of this exercise, that there is no such thing as a soulmate the way we think about it, like 1 in the 8 billion. It's more like making sure that you attract a truly fulfilling, a truly amazing relationship, and working like both parties working on making sure it is so. Right? Great. So you are not attracting your soulmate, you're attracting basically like your soul life, your soul relationship. And This is where you know you're on the right track. You're on the right track. And as Tony Robbins always says, when you do at the end of the relationship what you were doing at the beginning of it, it won't be the end. So this is, again, another issue with most couples, right? People are trying to be completely out of the out of proportion in the beginning of the relationship, exciting and amazing and loving and caring, and then they feel that they have somehow earned the right to be in any way they want without caring about how the other person feels, and this is where you have decay. So make sure that you validate that ticket, that relationship every single day. Make sure you appear every single day in that relationship as your best self, as your super self. Next, the necessary steps in order to fall in love with your super self. So, number one, accept now. The past belongs to the past. You are here. What has happened up until now has happened. And you can make peace with your past, and you can make peace with the state that you are right now. Number two, accept your super self. That version, the one that you truly want, not a smaller version of it. And three, accept your super journey, meaning all the changes, all the steps, all the thoughts, all the actions that need to be taken in order to reach your super self and your super life. And I want again to point out this distinction. You want to make sure that your super self is lovable, meaning the version that you create of your ideal self is something that truly means something to you, not a smaller version of it because this is what you think you deserve or you think you can do. This is where many of us get it wrong, and then what you have is a goal or a destination, as we like to say, that is not as attractive. So you don't do much about it, and you don't change, and nothing changes, and nothing happens, and you're not happy with your life, and of course you're not in love with your super life. You're mostly like focusing on the gap and thinking that something in your life is not working or not working well. Last for today, why love affects your success in any area of your life. Because when you focus on love or above, you're in what we call a creative state. Love is the energy, the power that creates worlds. Parents give many things to a baby, right? They bring food and they teach the baby things every single day, but mostly they give love. This is what is the creative power. And maybe you've heard like many cases where all you can do is project love to like a plant or something and see it grow faster, or things like cases like this. Again, what is going on here is where you want to focus on what we call unconditional love and see yourself as a beautiful cell of humanity, and make sure that every single day, regardless if you're in a relationship or if you're single right now, regardless how on a scale of 0 to 100, how close you are at your destination and how successful your business is, regardless of all these things, you can be a beautiful cell of humanity simply by like focusing for a few moments on unconditional love and becoming like a truly creative power for this world that we occupy, and make sure that today no matter what happens, you will be, no matter where you begin this morning, you will end up tonight closer to your super self and your super life. This is where you feel that you are in a creative state, in a loving state. And how you go about it, love or above, say to yourself, I do not allow any other state, any other negative or limiting thought or limiting emotion. I do not allow it in my life. Love or above, love or above. Make sure that this is your mantra and you always make sure that you are on that end of the field of emotions. So, step number one, do what you love. You know by now for sure that the moment you focus on doing what you love, immediately you feel like a surge of energy in your body. Where is that energy coming from? Unconditional love. It's the source energy, as we call it many times, universal energy, God, whatever it is that you like to call it, doesn't matter. What matters is that this is real. It is happening in virtually real time. The moment you focus on something that you truly love doing, immediately you feel that surge of energy. Angelo, I cannot do that right now. I'm very busy. I have like 2 jobs to make sure that my kids have will have their dinner tonight and so on. I get you. I feel you. So until then, love what you do. Don't say, you know what? I hate my job. I hate my manager, my boss, or the owner of the company or whatever. You know what? When you train yourself to love what you do, it doing what you love will come much sooner because energy flows where your focus goes, and you focused on love. You focused on doing on in a truly loving what you do, and immediately you will attract much easier to do what you love. In any case, love is something that you can redeem actually. So by pouring more love in your life, pouring more love in your relationship, pouring more love in your business, it will do wonders. As Emmett Fox used to say, there is nothing that enough love cannot fix. Wow. Amazing words. There is nothing that enough love cannot cure, nothing that enough love cannot fix. Amazing words. And with these words, I leave you. And of course, with your homework for the next 7 days, begin with a self love exercise. Give yourself a big hug. Look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say, I love you. Number 2, pour more love into yourself. Start filling this cup and see yourself becoming more and more and like much closer version of your super self. Number 3, pour more love into your relationship with your partner, with your kids, with your neighbors, with your friends. Pour more love into your relationships. Be the person who begins this upgrade of love in your experiences. And last but not least, pour more love in your business, in your career, and see it flourish. And make sure that once again, you are demonstrating, you're not like, you truly walk the talk, and you're demonstrating that you are becoming a much better and higher and more loving and more caring self of humanity. And you also demonstrate that what I tell you in every like single webinar and every single day with my daily shots of inspiration, you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. And love is the avenue with which you will make all this happen. It is the fuel to your happiness and success. Love or above, live on that end of the spectrum, and everything will become magical for you. I leave you with these words, and I want you to build an amazing month until we meet next month for another Life Coaching Masterclass. Ciao, ciao.